Oh, this feels so good to be back. Live. Oh my God. Live for the first time in 2024. Okay, I'm just sweet. Hey, Tans. Hello, Jadi. I know I owe you. Hi guys. Hi. We're just waiting for other people to join. Hi Ubuntu. I hope you guys having a good evening. Getting ready for tomorrow. Hello Bafana. Good to see you. Hello. Oh wow. Okay, just give. It's like I'm in a boardroom now. You know, in the boardroom we'll say, just give other colleagues just 5 minutes to join, and then we'll start our meeting. You know the corporate gangs. Hi there. Hi Patinga. It's good for you to join us. Whoo! Yes, it's property stuff. Okay, so I love this. People are joining in. I love this. I'm getting excited. Hi honey. Hi Fikile. Hi everybody. Hi. Igama lam ke nguCacisa Mgulo. They call me the property mogul. Today, for the very first time in 2024, I'm starting live on a very important topic that I believe that most property owners, or even people that aspire to be property owners, they need to understand the difference. So shout out to the lady that sent out this allow the fire stuff coming through. Am I good? Am I hot, guys? Am I looking good? You know, I take an effort to look like this, you know. The makeup on a Sunday, whenever I need to be preparing for work, I'm like, okay, let me just look good, you know, for you guys. I hope you're gonna appreciating it. Okay, so enough about myself and all that. Okay. So basically, the question came from one of my followers. Normally what happens, let me just give you a background. Normally on my page, people post questions and then I'll answer separate, you know, behind the closed door. But I realize now, going forward, any questions that you have, you can post, and then I think it is the better for everyone to be able for me to provide that in this platform or even in a YouTube channel, because I'm going to have now a very active YouTube channel that I'm going to be posting more and more videos that are related to property. So my page is all about being authentic, being real, taking the facts. I'm not hiding things. Like everything that I share here, it's what I've experienced as a property investor and buying properties. So there's a lot that I'm going to share. There's a lot of content I'm going to share on this platform. So be on the lookout. Subscribe to my channel. So I'm gonna drop out the link after this video so that you can go and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you guys cannot miss important topics I'm going to be sharing in these platforms. So it's important, therefore. And also I'm going to be big on TikTok. I remember 2021, I think, just after the lockdown. So I used to have nice, interactive, crazy videos that I used to do on TikTok. So I'm going back to TikTok now. So guys, the content is going to be on fire. Boom. So there's a lot that is happening. I'm going to be doing masterclasses. I'm going to be doing mentorship. People have been requesting a lot on Facebook and on Instagram that I must do masterclasses and mentorship. So I'm going to be embarking on that very soon. So also be on the lookout, because guys, there's a lot here. I've got a lot to share. I'm experiencing a lot, guys. Like property, guys. Property is not easy. It's not easy to own, but it's exciting because you feel like, you know what, I have something solid, an asset, you know, that if anything happens or I'm pressed with funds, I can just dispose it and be able to use those funds to be able to address that issue. So I get so excited, but it's not easy. I don't know how many times I've encountered a lot of challenges financially. It demands a lot here. It demands rates, maintenance, especially maintenance, family maintenance. It it chows your money in property, because you fix this, somebody calls you and tell you that there's an issue with the geyser, you have to call a plumber because you need to retain that tenant. So you need to be fast and not waste time when a tenant complains to say that there's this issue now, the pipe has burst, so get somebody to come and fix it. So you need to be able to have people in place, a team that can be able to, especially a plumber. Plumber is very important, electricity. Those are two people that you need in your life when it comes to managing your property. So those are the things that I've been going through, that I'm going to be sharing. Real story, guys, real life stories. And I'm not here to scare you, but it's just an awareness to know what you're getting yourself into. But overall, I don't regret. It's exciting. I've never thought that I will own so many. How many? I lost count. Properties. Okay, so let's get into the topic today. So I received a DM asking that this lady says that I think you've read that on the storyline, that this lady says that, okay, before I start, can this be an interactive session where people can ask questions, relating obviously to this, if there's any questions, and so I can be able to help you guys, because this platforms, it's gonna come, it's not gonna come again to have a live talking about the same topic. So you must be able to utilize that for your benefit. So okay, so firstly, the lady asked that she bought a property for this amount, I think it's about 200,000 and more. And then she also did about 500,000 and more, and now she negotiated with the agent, which was good, and now it dropped by 50,000 less. Hi Zama. It dropped by 50,000 less, and now she's asking a question to say that, okay, when she looks at the municipal valuation, yeah, okay, obviously the rates statement, now you can call it a municipal bill. It shows that the municipal valuation, or the rate, or the value of your property in terms of municipal role, is far much lesser than what she paid for, or what the agent told her. So what's going on? Is it going to affect my property value when I sell this property? What really is going to happen? So I understand. I've been through that situation as well, where I used to be confused in terms of what is the real market value of my property. So is it going to affect the value that I was told that it is, or is it what? So I'm just going to be unpacking that today. I'm just going to firstly, how this is going to be structured is going to be structured in a way that I'm going to first explain to you what is a market value and what is a municipal value. So how do you differentiate the two? And then the question will be, is there a difference, and what is more important? So I'm going to be addressing that, and how, and what is your role as, thanks Patinga for that question, what is the role therefore that you as a property owner, you need to play within those processes? And yeah, so those things I'm just going to be going through that. So I'm just going to be using my laptop just to do that I don't miss any important points. So starting now, I'm diving in now to this. So if you could explain yourself, okay, and also just a disclaimer as well. I'm a property valuer, a candidate one. So I'm part of a team or a group where we are being mentored by registered property valuers. So some of the information I'm going to share is what I do as part of this program. So as a candidate property valuer, so when this question came, I was like, oh, this is nice, because mostly what we do as a candidate valuer aspiring to be registered is we do valuation reports. If you call it a market valuation report, where that report determines in terms of what is your market value, your actual market value for property. So there's a lot of factors that are considered when you're determining your market value. So I'm going to touch on that as well. Okay, without wasting time, this is going to be just a 45-minute session. I don't want to be taking your time because it's a Sunday, people need to prepare for tomorrow. So a market value is how, I'm just going to read this for you, and then I'm going to explain it so you can be able to understand in layman's term. A market value is how much a home would sell under a normal condition. So what is a normal condition? Under a market normal condition. So it's how much a property would sell. So meaning that it is a value in terms of how much this property will be advertised in a platform where people sell properties. Generally, also what is also important is that even though there is this definition, but it does not actually say that this is it. It's cast in stone, a market value. What it is, and this is the process is. But a market value generally, it's what the buyer determines on how much she's willing to buy the property. So again, the willing, I don't know if you know the concept that says a willing buyer and a willing seller. It is there. I think there was a bill in South Africa. They're talking about the expropriation bill, where now the government is want to challenge that concept of the willing buyer and the willing seller. So in the normal term, in the situation that we are sitting at now in terms of property market, is that a person will come and say, I am willing to buy that property for this much, and that is what I'm willing to pay for it. So it becomes therefore that after the property has been sold, it becomes therefore that the market value of that property. So it's how much a buyer is willing to place or to buy that property. For instance, that is why it's so crucial, important that even though you are told maybe by an agent, because other agents will say that I can give you evaluation of this property, so it's important that you negotiate, because there's no set amount to say this property has to be sold at this. So it's how much you're willing to buy for it. Others, even if a property, maybe a property that is next to another property that was sold recently, you'll find that you might even pay more than what a sale was done in the same block or in the same street. So, and then it end up sometimes pushing the value of properties when they're doing evaluation role of properties. So kubalekile, that is, you understand the market value and what is your right as the buyer in terms of understanding what is the market value. So I don't know if you guys got that in terms of the market value. What is the market value? So what actually, there was a question, what factors influence the property value? There's a lot of factors, but I'm just going to give you one. What determines the value is the zoning. Zoning, where do you get that zoning? You get it from the town planning department. You get it from town planning information, the zoning of the property. So you cannot have a same valuation process if you have a residential and then you value the property of a residential as the same as a commercial. Those are two different things. So when you're doing a valuation report, you have a formula that you're going to have to use for a commercial building, and also there's a formula that you're going to use for a residential property. So one of the determination of valuation, that factors that influence the market value, is the zoning. Secondly, is the parameters, zoning parameters, meaning that what are the coverage? You do any coverage, I'm now becoming technical. What is the coverage of the building? What does the building covers in terms of the land space, the building lines, those things. When you're doing a valuation report, you factor those things in. And secondly and thirdly, the features of the house. Features of the house, that if you are evaluating a property that has a solar system in place or a borehole, it will actually have more value than a property that does not have a solar system or a borehole. Talking about the solar system, remember now we are in a situation where there's a lot of load shedding. So if you go into a market space and you're looking for a property, and then the agent shows you two properties and say, I've got two properties in the same area. One has no this solar system in place that helps you to be able to have electricity when there's load shedding, and the other one, it has a solar system. So which one, common sense, which one will you go for? The one that's got a solar system because it's going to assist you as a new property owner to be able to able to have electricity when all of us are in load shedding. So it also comes into that. And other features, you'll find that other properties, they have other fancy stuff that can actually add you as a buyer, because sometimes it goes to the preference of the buyer, because other buyers will have a different preference than the other person. So that also has an influence in terms of how much you are willing to buy for the property. How much are you willing to pay for it? Because if it's in one of your top list to have this certain feature in your property, or to have a, what do you call it, a kitchen that's got beautiful green out and all of those things, you will pay more, because this is what is gonna, satisfy you as a buyer. And then we have the size of the land. How big is the size of the land? If you go to a township and you're buying a property in a township, and it's investment property, the first thing you want is a property that's got land, because you know what you're going to do with that site. You're going to put flats. So for you as a buyer, you are willing to pay for that. Even if it's a 1-bedroom RTP house, as long it's big at the back and you're able to put 14 flats, you'll be willing to pay for that. And the location. Where is it located? You're not going to want to buy in an area where you know that it's a no-go area. And even if you build these 14 flats, no one is going to stay there. There are areas like in the township, especially in the township, or it could be colored township or black township, that there it's a no-go area. You need to call people to go fetch you at the bus stop or at a taxi stop for you to access that area. So those are the things that you need to consider those are things that you consider when you're determining a property. And the improvements, I think I've touched into that. The solar, the improvement, that's the improvement of the property. And also additions, improvement, even including the extensions. Because if a property is got a 2-bedroom house, and then another one, the other property has got 3-bedroom house. So the 3-bedroom house will be more expensive than a property that is a 2-bedroom house. So those are the things that actually determines some of the things that determine the value, and there will be other things. Is it evaluation or valuation? Is valuation. Evaluation, I think, is more on the government. When you're doing evaluation of what do you call this? There's this terms when you use in government, performance evaluation. No, it's a valuation, market valuation. Talking about that. So, and then there was a question: can one negotiate a price with a new development? It is possible, but it's not easy. Because remember, when you're negotiating a price, you need to put facts on the table why you think you need to pay less than what has been asked. So if it's a new development, it's going to be difficult to build your argument in terms of what they want to pay less. Because again, the developer is ready to set his price and his profit. So if he's going to give you far less, it might affect his profits at the end of the day. So you need to be very, very, very clever in terms of how are you going to put your facts on the table and build your case in terms of how much you need to pay. But it is possible. I don't say it's impossible, but it's possible. So that's a nice thing about buying properties that already exist, because the first thing when you want to negotiate a property, you look at the defects. Small cracks on the wall, for me, that's a negotiation. Because I'm going to say I'm going to have to appoint somebody to fill that crack, and it's going to cost me money. So all those things, carpets that are falling off, for me, that's a minus. All those defects that you can see, you are able to negotiate the asking price. And now comes to I don't know if there's any other questions. Okay, cool. And then now coming to the municipal value. The municipal value of a property. A municipal value of a property is determined by a local authority, which is a municipality in our case, by making a periodical assessment of all buildings that fall within their jurisdiction. Meaning that a municipality will have a process periodically, meaning that it can be a certain period of, it can be 4 years, it can be 5 years, but in most cases in South Africa, it's a 5-year period where they do an assessment of any building. I'm talking about industrial, I'm talking about residential, I'm talking about commercial, warehouses. They will make an assessment. Such it helps then for the municipality to charge tax. Rates and taxes is what you're paying every month. You receive a bill. Unfortunately, if you are residing in South Africa, you cannot avoid paying rates and taxes. Even if you are in the township, in the darkest back township of South Africa, you, by law, you need to pay rates and taxes. If you don't pay rates and taxes, they're going to come for you, and they're able to attach your property and sell it, and then they will take their money and you walk away with nothing. And you still, if you still owe, they will still come after you and do judgments against you, because while you fail to pay 1,000 rands every month towards your rates and taxes. So it's important, therefore, to understand that municipal rates and taxes, they need to be paid. You have no choice there. It is determined based on the numbers of facts. So you ask the question about what market value influences, but also municipality valuation. It also affects that determines in terms of how much the municipality can charge you in terms of tax. So it is therefore the calculations then become different when it comes to municipal valuation, because they are governed by a municipal valuation policy of a local government, which is called a Municipal Property Rates Act 6 of 2004. So I'm going to mention something very important now. Listen to this. The municipal valuation, the municipal value is not necessarily, I hope you're listening to this, it's not necessarily equivalent to a market value, but according to law it should be, but it's not. Most of the time the market value and municipal valuation value, they are not the same. In most cases, I know for a fact, for me as well, in my properties, they are not the same. My municipal value would say that my property is worth 250,000, and when you go to Lightstone, it tells you that properties in this area have been sold for 350 to 400,000, and I bought the property for 450,000. You see the difference there. So it's not equivalently the same. So I'm trying to answer that question. I'm going to answer that question, but it should be, but it can't. And you ask yourself why they are not the same. So I'm going to give you that answer now. What happened is, we talked about the periodical assessment of all buildings. So municipality have something called a municipal roll. So the municipal roll is a database of buildings that are in their jurisdiction, and they've given them a value. So if you're a property owner, you're in maybe, let's say, in the city of Tshwane, your property is in that municipal roll. So therefore, that is done every 5 years. So if it was done in 2018, the municipal valuation roll, it will now be done in 2023 or 2024. So it has to be in 5 years. So therefore, that is why they are not equivalent. Because now, in 2018, when they did their valuation roll, they said your property was worth, let's say, 2 million. That was 2018. We had 2019, 2020, COVID came. Interest rates dropped. People started buying. 2021 was the same. Interest rate dropped. People started buying. People buying in ridiculous prices because it was affordable. And that has influenced the prices of properties. We had 2020, 21, 22, 23, and 24. You see, 5 years down the line, the municipality is still sitting at that 2 million of 2018. Now, in 2021, they have to do the valuation roll to say, okay, we have our 5 years now. Property valuer, come and do our municipal valuation roll so that at least we can pay what is fair and reasonable in terms of the property market. Because remember, municipality also is in the business to make money. Because your rates and taxes, it assists them to to give you a service delivery, to close those potholes, to give electricity, to clean those open spaces, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So now they cannot be stuck in a 5-year price. 5 years ago, they need to also to align themselves with the market. Then you'll find yourself, now they come and say, okay, because in this area of yours, properties have been selling for 3 million, 2.8 million, 2.6 million. What is the average market value that we can give as a municipality? They do the assessment in terms of the procedures and the processes of valuation. Then they come up to say a reasonable market value for property will be 2.4 million. Now it comes from 2 million, you are now increased by 400,000. And that is going to impact or influence how much are you going to be paying every month towards your municipal rates and taxes. During that process, please listen to me carefully. During that process, it is important. Municipality is going to inform you. Municipality has a database of your contact details. They have your email address, they have your contact details. So it's important to update that if you have changed your details. They will going to inform and send you an email to say that we are embarking on the process to valuation, and this is how much we have valuated your property based on the category of a residential property. Therefore, your property has come to 2.4 million. And they are telling you that so that you can come and say, no. My property is not worth 2.4 million. Because remember, if you come and dispute it, it helps you as well to pay less, because the lesser your property is valued, the less the property is valued, the lesser you're going to pay for rates and taxes. So if they come and tell you that this is how much it is going to value for, you have the prerogative, therefore, for you to be able to dispute that in writing, to say, I dispute that based on these facts. And then the municipality will assess a dispute. If they agree with you, they will reduce it. If not, they will say, no, your facts are not valid. Therefore, we stick to the value of what we've given you. And then now, going forward, then you'll be paying that. It goes then, there's a formula they are using, aligned to or governed by the Municipal Valuation Rates Act. So therefore, they will find that when you look at your statement, billing statement, there, when it comes especially to water, that section about the water, how much you do, they will show there that they've discounted you maybe about 65,000. Let's say the property was valued, it says the property is valued at 2 million. Then they'll say they will minus 85,000 rand based on the sense of what, and then it values maybe for, let's say, 198 or 1,090 something a property yako, because in terms of the law they need to give you a certain discount in that, and now that becomes how much rates you're paying. So if it happens, therefore, when you are not satisfied, you still have the right to be able to lodge that and say no, because it has happened. Again, what happens most of the time is that these people that change their properties to student accommodation or business without telling the municipality. Remember, in 2018, you bought this property for 2 million and now you were putting in student accommodation. That is business to the municipality because you're generating an income. And therefore, you are charged based on a single dwelling, a single family dwelling, or you are based on a family kind of a setup. So you're not based on, there are people that are renting and they are making money out of it. So what happened is that they're doing this so that they can catch those people that are not paying in terms of their category. So you'll find that you've been paying a rate for 2 million house for a residential property, and you're paying, let's say you're paying 1.5 every month towards your rates. Now that they have done the valuation roll, it's going to change as commercial, because remember, now you are generating a profit out of your property. So they will classify it according to the zoning categories that they have, if it's a student accommodation or if operating a business there in your property, so they will classify that you will pay as per that category, and then your municipal rates taxes will go up, and you're gonna be paying more and more and more. So it is crucially important, therefore, that you become part and parcel of that process. I know we as property owners, we don't pay attention into notices that we receive from municipality, especially these public notices. So it is crucial, important that if that process starts, you get involved, because you're going to be paying more. I'll give you an example. There was a property that I was interested to buy, I think in Port Elizabeth, for student accommodation. It's a house, it's still used as a house. And then the valuation of the municipality, Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, they evaluated the property, and then they changed it from residential to commercial. And now that pushed the municipal rates. And now when I was about to actually start the process, and then the owner was like, oh, they need to, unfortunately, the property has been valued as a commercial, so the rate has changed. So therefore, the process is no longer being the same as you buying a normal residential, because there's going to be something about the VAT that you have to pay. Yeah, it was, that is going to be included in the price. It was just, and now they're not happy because the municipality, they value their property high. They're still negotiating with the municipalities. I said, I don't want to get involved in this. I'm not buying a commercial, because that means it's going to make me to pay 3,000 rands on rates, whereas I still need to put students in this property, and I still have to wait, for people to fill up and then go to the institution and change this whole use. So I was like, I don't think it's worth it. It's worth it. Let me walk away with that. So I don't know if I was able to be clear to everybody, but that is actually what it is about. That your municipal value, to answer the question, what is that? Does it actually impact or influence the sale of my property? If I decide, therefore, to sell the property, it doesn't. Because what happened in most cases is that if a property is on the market for sale, the agents are not concerned of what the municipal value it is, because what happened is that it's sometimes not accurate or not even equivalent of what, not to say, okay, I'm not going to say it's accurate, but I'll say, I may just remove that word accurate. It's not equivalent to what is actually the market value, because this process of municipal valuation run, it happens every 5 years, and a lot has happened in the market. So you cannot base your sale of the property market value on a 5-year municipal roll. So what is important for you is, what are the properties? What is the price of property that are sold in this area, and how much are you willing to pay? So even if I'm asking, like, I'm trying to negotiate, sometimes I'll do that. I'll try to negotiate and say, no, the municipal value property says this property is worth 1 million. Why are you selling it for 1.5 million? And the judge said, no, you can't look at the municipal valuation, because it's not outdated as yet in terms of what is currently happening. So do not so much concern of what it is. What is important is how much. And that is why, what I've learned in this process of being a valuer is that this property that are sold in an auction, they actually impact the market values of properties in a certain area, especially when we, like, for instance, a bank, before it gives you a bond, to grant you a bond, they say, in terms of affordability, you meet the criteria, but we need, therefore, to do our valuation. You're going to send our value of the property to see if whether what the agent is asking or the seller is asking is actually the market value of the property. And then they will send that valuer, and then he'll do his assessment. I know it has happened to me when I was selling my property in Cape Town, and valuer came, and then I was trying to actually push the value of this property while I was following the value around. I said, you see, there's a swimming pool there. You see, there's a 6-bedroom house here. You see, I changed this and that. I said, okay, it's writing down. Okay. And then I felt like he wasn't even interested to say there's a granite thing tops here. I was like, no, what actually the grant is not going to assist you in terms of actually pushing your value. For me, what is important is how many bedrooms this property. Ask me, how many bedrooms does this property have? Swimming pool, because it does actually sometimes add. Okay, are the building plans? Is this house been extended before? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Okay, cool. So those are the questions that we're asking me. So as properties that are bought on an auction, sometimes that influence it, because you find that two properties next to you were bought at an auction at a very ridiculous price. And now that when you're doing your market value analysis, you factor those, but it needs a clever valuer to go back to the records. How were they purchased? Because they know that properties bought at an auction, they're bought at an actual market value because they were there to get a discount, a ridiculous discount. So therefore, it's important that you understand that when you're evaluating, you need to take into consideration that if for instance, sometimes when you're doing this valuation, you find that there are 3 properties here that were bought at 250, but most of properties here are sold at 1.8 million. Then it triggers that to say, no, they were bought at an auction. So therefore, you need to do, we call it in our market value or valuation terms, an adjustment, so that you can adjust in terms of that sale, because remember, it was not an actual market value. So it's important maybe that they don't have to consider them at all, because how are you going to compare apples to oranges? Because really it does not make sense. So just to come back to the question, was that it is indeed doesn't make any difference when you focus on the value. Ask the agent, how much is the value of properties here? We tell Malin, the previous owner, how much did he buy it for? Go back to the records and check that there's something called a light stone. Check, this guy bought this house in 2022 for 950,000, and now he wants to sell it for 1.5. No, he's crazy. That's where you negotiate. They say, because why are you gonna be so high? And then the house next door to him was sold at 1 million, and now he wants. Then that's where you negotiate. When you start negotiating on the table, bringing up facts and. There have been questions coming through. So, would it be better to purchase an investment property under a business or as an individual? Oh, wow. Okay. Based on my experience, most of my properties, I bought them individually. Why? It's because I want 100% bond. I don't want 98. I don't have 50,000 to add. Because that 50,000, I'm going to be paying towards the transfer fees and bond registration fees. So the likelihood of getting 100% individual is very high. Very, very high. Especially if you can afford and your credit score is good. Business, most cases, 99.99%, it's always the bank will give you 80% or a 90%. Or even 60 in that matter. If you're buying a block of flats, they give you 60, most they will give you 60% because that is commercial. So now to avoid you putting top in, I go individual. I know also there are cons to that, but I'm willing to cross that. And also when you're buying with a business, they want a lot of information. Like they will want you to have financials, a 12 months financials done and audited by an auditor or accountant. And that's money. And they want to see that there's been money coming in for the past 12 months consistently. So they want your books. If you are not good at books, then it's going to really be a negative for you. And also when you're buying into the business, they're going to ask you when you sending in the required papers as a buyer, those things, copy it, the transfer, what documents. They would want you to have something. There's a form that they need to be signed by your auditor or an accountant. If you don't have that, you're going to have to look for one because they can't do a at the deeds office without those papers, without the signature, unfortunately. So there is those challenges, but again, I don't have a problem buying under a business, because now I want to focus more on growing my business and focusing more on big investment. So I can't do those things with individual, because one of the challenges with individual is that you go up to a limit and you can't go over that, unfortunately, unless you get a new job or a nice good promotion, or there's allowance that comes in now. Then the bank starts then to say, okay, we can give you that. So that is my explanation when it comes to, but it all depends on what is your vision. What is your vision and what can work for you? Because if you're buying also individual, the credit report is going to show you all your debt. It falls under a debt. So they also take into consideration in terms of giving you a score, because now you have another debt that you've added in, and then they factor that into your credit score. I hope I answered you, guys. It's 7. Okay. What are some of the reasons one can state to dispute a municipal valuation so that they can pay? I can. You want me to be arrested? Okay. I think based on my professional experience, reasons will be that it's not a fair value or a fair rate, that this properties in this area are not generally sold at that price. Let's say they will market it, they will say that your property is worth 550,000, and you know that properties in this area, they're selling at 250, 350. So you can state that this is not an accurate rate of value of your property. So you believe that your property is actually worth 400,000, not 550. So therefore that 100,000 will actually reduce, therefore, the rate the municipality will charge. Because remember, you are challenging a valuer here. You can't be emotional about it and say, no, see, there's this issue of security. This place, I got it for my mother. My mother bought this property when I was, he left it to me, and now I can't afford to pay it. Those don't work. You need to put facts on the table. Remember, if it's low, you need to challenge it with law. No emotions to it. So your argument should be around the sales. How much properties are valued in this property? Is it a fair rate? Is it a fair valuation or not a fair valuation? Take into the area, how it's being structured, take into the properties that have been sold here, and it's a 3-bedroom house, and a 3-bedroom house in this area, it's sold for 300,000, not 550. It's only 5 bedrooms that are sold at this price, and these are the evidence to show that in Property 24. This is the evidence to show that. Therefore, I am disputing the rate that you're telling me. So those are the facts that you need to put on the table. Okay, I'll definitely record this, honey. Please discuss the auction approach. What are the risks and opportunities therein? Guys, we're talking about municipal valuation, not auction. Nyang hijack. Okay, being nice, I'll go through it. Okay, it's as the beauty about my property value. My property investment. I've experienced, I would say, 98% of strategies in property. My portfolio is so diverse, and I've gone through. God takes me to all these areas, not knowing that I'm gonna have to come here and share my experience. I've bought a property in an auction, and it's going now for eviction. I must say, it's a very stressful process, I should say, being that it's not easy to evict a person in South Africa. It's not easy at all. If you're going to follow the legal route, it's not easy, because I bought the property back in 2022. No, 2021. Towards the end of 2021. And then the process, we done all of that, and now I wanted to evict the person. Eviction started in 2022, I think. Yes. It's only now that we're actually winning to evict the person, because it's back and forth with the court, back and forth. So in that, it's not easy. That's why I'm saying it's not easy. 2, when you go into an auction, because it was my first time buying a property. Okay, actually, I bought 2 properties in an auction. You need to make sure that you understand the area, because abantu can be emotional. You must know when to bid and when not to bid, because sometimes people say, they'll put the property property going to 120,000, there's another 150,000. So your mind's like, okay, what do I do? Do I bid? Do I that? And then people, especially for the first bid, it will find that I will put on the first round property. People, they just hold back, and then they'll find that the person that bid, the first 2 people that bid dealing, they're actually the ones that actually got a good sale, a discount, not sale and a purchase, because there were not a lot of people putting in the offer, because you were waiting for the other ones. You wanted to see how far this thing can go. And so, if you're not careful, because you don't get emotional, you know the area, because now these 2 properties, I knew the area, how much properties are being sold in that area, and what value those properties have, and what I need to do. So I made sure that I'm not going to go above this price, because that means I'll be going over the market value. So I waited, I think, the 4th property, and then I put my offer. And another one came, and then I put the offer, because you must start at the bottom. They will ask for the auction. Sometimes the guys who does the auction, they will lead you, say the starting point is 50,000. Then you put the 50,000. Then it goes 90, 60, 70, 90, 100. Because yes, most but you go to 100,000, 120, 170, goes and goes, and then you find that even before you reach the 280, already you are the last one, and then you get it. They say 270,000, and then that's a win for you, because you know properties in these areas, they are sold at 550,000. So already you have bought at half the price of the value of properties in that area. Others, the mistake I've seen people doing in an auction, that they will wait until the last, and then now they are pressured for them to buy. Then they start bidding and paying far more what they could have paid in a normal market. Because now you don't want to walk away with nothing. You just want to buy for the sake of just buying. So those are some of the challenges that people face. And also, lastly, you will need to, before you even go into the bid, you need to pay a deposit, upfront, cash. And then that, after you've done the bid and then it is accepted, you need to make sure that the money is ready. They will tell you that they want a amount of VAT and a certain deposit. So you find that it's roughly, it's about 50,000, 70,000 rands. It depends on the value of the market, the selling of the property. So those things, they are upfront costs that you cannot negotiate. And then now they will give you a date for you to secure the finance. So you will need to make sure that those things are in place, that you've done your pre-qualification. You know that if you put this to the bank will approve quickly without wasting time. The risk is that you don't even know that the property you're buying, what is in there. If it's land, are there any checks? You don't know because you haven't done this assessment. Because sometimes you'll be in Joburg and buying a property in East London. So you're not going to have time to go and check there. But you're buying because you know the value that's going to bring to you. So others, sometimes you buy there and there's an illegal occupant. And you can't just evict a person. You need to then go through those processes of getting a litigator, and then they remove the person from the property. So that's my story, guys. Oh God, guys, I think I'm a bit tired. I'm just gonna answer these, and then I would like to know where to get. Do you get dispute form for water bills at municipal? Because really I want to involve on the process. Dear you, I think the best place is to go to rates department, where you pay for your water at the municipality. You go there and request them the form to dispute. You have the right to dispute that. So you go to where you pay, where in the municipality, most municipalities always in the ground floor. Go there to the municipal building. If you're in the city of Johannesburg, you go there in the place where you're paying for your water. Then you ask them that I want to dispute my water bill. Then they will give you a form, and then they will ask you all sort of information. Are you the owner and all of that? So yeah, and also the municipal valuation, they will tell you what it's in, whether it's in their website or not. Thanks, Tens, for that. Do you pay for tax on your rental income? No, I don't. Rates and taxes, yes, municipality, yes, I pay for them. I have no choice. I have to pay for that tax. That's a tax that I pay. But for SARS, obviously, yeah, for SARS, lastly for SARS, you have to declare your rental income, because SARS is going to catch you. This was my first time filing for my rental in properties. Whew, what a tedious exercise. I've done that myself, and I got some money, but I'm not going to do it again by myself. I need to find someone to do that. But you're going to have to declare. Somebody asked me, why are you declaring your properties? How do they know that you own those properties? You can build properties and you just stay there without anybody, or you put your aunties and your cousins and you're not getting any. How are they going to know that you are generating income, especially if you're getting your income cash hand here? And I said, it doesn't work like that, because when you get a bond, the bank asks you, is it an investment property or primary resident property? In that form, they ask you. And then you say it's for investment, because remember, you're trying to push your argument for them to give you, or motivating to say that you want this, they must grant you that. So you declare there in that form. Then now they're recorded as investment property. And again, there are rental incomes that goes into your bank, your Capitec or your Standard Bank or FNB account. So somehow, what happens is, because you have lost your property, or you have done your transfer documents and all of that, that is being recorded. It comes recorded at SARS. And now, when you do your e-file, they will ask you, do you have any rental properties that you want to declare? And you have to choose there. It's a yes or a no. So if you say no, there are no further other questions that comes. You move to the next section. But if you say yes, that block starts to open. And then they give you a whole lot of things that you need to fill in there. Your rental income, your depreciation cost, your maintenance, what. So you fill in that, and with an evidence that you are actually paying maintenances, you are maintaining the property, and what you're getting is far less than the bond charges you every month. So therefore, they cannot tax any profit out of this. So ube safe ngalondole, and then the SARS says, okay, we actually must give you more. That is why people, guys, I must close. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, I'll share more of this. Let me not give everything. I'm tired, but we'll talk more about this. When we know the rich dad and poor dad, when he speaks about that, SARS or tax can work for you. SARS can work for property investors. I know that. I've experienced that. I never understood when he was sharing it. But now, because I've gone through that, now I understand, yeah, it is actually possible that SARS works for you. SARS pay you to actually buying properties. It pays for you that. Thank you for investing and providing accommodation to people like you, Onondwa, like you, Yanda, because you are a good citizen. You know that shelter is important in South Africa, so therefore we give you 40,000 rands back to your account, and then you go and smile and go to Dubai, and then imali kabani sauce money. So yeah. Okay, guys, please don't forget, I'll do that. Definitely, I'll do that. Thank you for your time, and it was really exciting and fulfilling for me to give this information. There is more to come. What I also am going to be doing is that every Thursdays, I'll be putting out a thingy there to say question and answers. Put in your questions, and then we'll have a platform where I'm going to be answering those questions. And then Zama, thank you, Sissy. So it was great indeed. Have a lovely Sunday and have a good week. God bless you, and share this also to people that you know, and subscribe to my channels and all of that. It was great. And sorry, Lesa, we're just saying amen, the grace, and we are saying amen. But I'm going to save this. Keep well, and God bless you. I love you guys. Mwah.